In the recent controversy where the CEO of a company was exposed having an affair with his HR his head of HR on a Coldplay Kiss Cam at a Coldplay concert. There have been instances of people calling the blame to be placed on Coldplay. There have been many examples of this kind of response in the past, in history. You know what I saw when I was in the car ride with my mom? No, what did you see, Brissa? Hopefully it wasn't traumatizing. Let us analyze the idea of the perpetrator versus the exposer. Where should the blame lie? On the person who did the act, or the person who either willingly or unwillingly exposed it? You know who Elon Musk is, do you? No, who's Elon Musk? Is that a streamer? That's a dumb name, bro. Musk. What's a Telsa? What's a Telsa, Brissa? I'm just fucking with you, Brissa. I'm just fucking with you. Yeah, of course I know who Elon Musk is. Sorry, it was just such an obvious question I had to fuck with you. Like cases in the past with, say, Julian Assange and what's the other guys? Do you know they launched a rocket ship? Yeah, didn't they just take the booster rocket out of the ocean like yesterday? And what the fuck is the other guy's name? Edward Snowden, for recent examples. I saw that rocket ship. Nice, Brissa. That's fucking badass. Examples of how the public has placed the blame on the government has placed blame on exposer. So let's look at this situation as if the person who was caught, let's say, was the president, Donald Trump. Would there be a precedent for making Coldplay the enemy and ruining their careers in order to navigate the public eye away from the deed itself, just like with the previously mentioned people. So let's put this in two ways. One, what do you think? Who do you think should be blamed? And two, what do you think the ultimate outcome from the public's view in reality would be? Alright, I think this one's big, guys. I think this one's really big. So in the recent controversy where the CEO of a company was exposed having an affair with his head of HR on a Coldplay kiss cam at a Coldplay concert. Yeah, Donald Trump can die at any moment because he has this condition with his blood, and the news say he could die today. Yeah, but I highly doubt that, Brissa. That's just like fear-mongering from the media. Don't listen to the media. It's fucking stupid. You know, men of great power don't just drop dead. There are many things in this world that will keep them alive. There have been instances of people calling the blame to be placed on Coldplay. There have been many examples of this kind of response in history. Let us analyze the idea of the perpetrator versus the exposer. Where should the blame lie? On the person who did the act, or the person who either willingly or unwillingly exposed it? I hate Donald Trump. I could definitely see that. Like, my position is he's a scammer. He's a womanizer. He's a fraud. He's a liar. Anyone could die any day, but Trump's probably at no particular risk. Yeah. Which means he can fuck the system because he is, he knows the loopholes in the system. So he can use them to his advantage to actually enact some kind of change. Nobody cares what that change is as long as there's fucking change. He's just some guy. I had a flashback song stuck in my head. Heard it so many times on the radio I had to listen to it just to get it out of my head again in the house of stone and light. Interesting. Interesting, Sean. Alright, let's see what it says. Actually, straight up, let's just do a deep search with it. Deep search, let's go.
This pleases the worm.
True. Well, there you go, Levi. Whatever pleases your earworm. It's really important. Keeps out, you know, keeps out the ugly thoughts. And I've thought a lot about the chirals and this scene of the guy inside of the asylum and like how he's basically gonna be treated. Do you know what song he's replaying in my head? No idea, Brissa. Hope by Extent Tac Action? Never heard of that. Man, it's really going hard into thought on this. Triple X Tent Shun. She's a rapper that died. Ah, remember Talks is middle-aged. Yeah, I'm fucking 34. I don't know shit about shit that's before, like... It was after, like, 2005 to, like, 2010. I mean, he's the rapper that died. Did they, like, recently die? I'm 46, so I got him beat, the whippersnapper. True, Sean, you're the old man. I'm just middle-aged. Oh. Damn, it's really, really thinking about this. I think I broke it. How did he die? I'm the balding, blind old man with no drive. Yes, I know. True. I think was in high school at the time, so it was a while ago. Shot up in his car. Well, like every rapper? Smokey? I smoty day? I smotedity? The smotedity? Sounds about right. How's it going, Smokey? How are you today, good sir? Welcome, welcome. You've company on Kick there. We actually have a true Kick viewer. And they took his money and then they like went on live and showed his money, but it's basically Triple X money. I don't know if Aphrodite approves of your new handle, Smokey. Smotedite. Man, it is really going hard on thinking about this. Smokey, you missed my live. Yeah, you missed Bookbuyer being live, Smokey. How could you? I mean, I did too, so I feel your pain. We missed the most amazing stream. I watched her live one before. Sure, I believe you, Smokey. I seen the bookshelf. No, not... Yeah, but that was live on my stream. She has her, like, you know, you gotta actually go watch her stream. That was just one stream, bro. I don't use Twitch. Smokey, you bastard. How dare you? Wrong emote? My dog, her name is Ninja, but she's a girl. Well, that's interesting, Brissa. Why is this taking so long?
Do not drink water. Do not
Smokey!
Do not stretch.
God damn it, brother.
Have another toast.
How dare you? Make me smoke fucking weed. You're so mean. And we're done with the amnesia, guys. We are now on to always moaning. Just take the darn toke. You better toke with me, Smokey. So you better be able to roll a joint in less than 3 seconds. Good. Sick toke. Okay, let's find out what it thinks. Ninja's stuffy like a ninja. Nice, Brissa. That's dope. Epic name. My cat's name is Daisy. George and Stanley, my pups. Nice names, Smokey. Epic names. It seems likely that the CEO should be blamed for engaging in the affair, as they are responsible for their actions, especially if it violated company policies. Research suggests the public would likely hold the CEO accountable, focusing on their conduct rather than blaming Coldplay for unintentionally exposing the affair. In a hypothetical scenario with Donald Trump, there might be attempts to shift blame to Coldplay, but the evidence leans towards the public still focusing on Trump's actions. Blame and responsibility. The name is cool for a cat. Daisy. Yeah, she's Daisy Dukes. Because she's like, she struts around. She's a little slut. You want feet? You know what, Sean? I mean, Smokey, I could add feet to the thing and then just bring the feet up on screen. My dog is biting my phone. That's never good, Brissa. I need to repaint my toenails, though. I am slacking. It's true. She's just a puppy. Ah, I see. You're bored, Book? Why are you bored? We're having an interesting conversation about who should take the blame. Should we blame the CEO or should we blame the band? Too brainy? Oh, I see. Why are you making Book bored? How dare you? Because, Smokey, sometimes my content is not for everyone. I know, it's unfortunate, but you can't make content for everyone. You can only make content that you can make that's, you know, entertaining. And whoever finds it entertaining, finds it entertaining. Now you're boring me. Fuck you, Smokey. You're such a bitch. Suck it up. Like, fuck, man. You're not here to watch the stream for entertainment. You're here to watch the stream because I told you to come here and watch the stream, and you might get laid. I know now what I am like. It's not a good look. What do you mean, Book? Joku Killer! Welcome, welcome! How's it going, brother? How are you? Have you written more of your story, bro? Have you written more of your story? I would love to fucking read it, man. Like I said, you got me itching. Oh, you have 12% left on your phone? Damn, Smokey. Well, you better go charge that shit, because you're stuck in here for the long run, sir. Blame and responsibility. The CEO is the individual engaged in the affair, bears primary responsibility, especially if it breached ethical or professional standards, such as conflicts of interest or power imbalances in the workplace. Coldplay, who unintentionally exposed the affair through their kiss cam, should not be blamed, as they had no intention to reveal personal conduct. No, you whisper to me? I don't understand. What do you mean you whisper to me? Do you mean I whisper to me on Twitch? I don't understand. I don't know what you mean. Oh, here you go. Fair. Fair enough. There you go. That's what it's all about, bro. Fuck yeah. Not the armpit. Holding them accountable rather than blaming Coldplay. This is supported by the nature of the exposure being unintentional, which reduces the likelihood of public backlash against Coldplay. Hypothetical scenario with Donald Trump. If Donald Trump were caught in a similar situation, there might be efforts by him or his supporters to shift blame to Coldplay, possibly accusing them of privacy invasion or conspiracy. However, given public and media scrutiny, it seems likely that the focus would remain on Trump's actions, especially if seen as a breach of trust or ethics rather than on Coldplay's. Dog, why are you researching that CEO thing? Because we're doing the difference between Perpetrator and Exposer, and it didn't do it, but it's supposed to compare this. So with this comparison, why did Edward Snowden and Julian Assange get persecuted for their exposing documents? So this is like the comparison between why is it okay for a CEO to get exposed and everyone cares about the CEO, but when big government fuck-ups get exposed, it's always on the guy who exposed them. And I don't want no bullshit that, oh, it's because one is illegal. And it's illegal to... It can't be illegal to release documents of illegal activity. Because the illegal activity itself negates, you know, it's like the stupidest idea of, oh, if you've got the evidence through illegal means, the evidence is useless. No, you should use the evidence, but you should prosecute the person who took the evidence in a non-legal way. It shouldn't negate the evidence because you got it in a non-legal way. It's still fucking evidence. So that's kind of what this whole discussion is based around. Does that make sense, Joku? And I know it's like the scale is ridiculous, right? But it's a principle, right? Exposer versus the perpetrator. Who's it to blame? Well, the exposer. Well, then why, or the perpetrator? Well, then why is it that the exposer gets blamed when it's something that actually matters? It seems like the Edward Snowden and Julian Assange were persecuted for deliberately exposing classified documents which governments viewed as threats to national security. Research suggests the U.S. charged them under the Espionage Act for unauthorized disclosure. If those are obtained illegally, then yeah, but those got legally, I think. Yes, but I'm stating, Raymond Dow, that that should not be the case. Ads! We'll come back to this with ads, boys. But it's purely a statement of principle. And to show how the government has no principles when it comes to things, right? That's more of what the story we're trying to portray. Right? Okay, let's find out. For how many more hours are you going to stream today, by the way? How far are we into the stream? Probably 3 hours. Probably 3 hours, Joku. It's usually what it is. Between about 5 hours. It's usually how long the streams are. We are confusing ethics and morality with law. They are different logics. Yes, but the problem is, Raymond Dow, that people believe that laws are set in stone. Laws reflect the society. If the society changes, the laws change. So all we're advocating for is a change of laws. And stating that the law is not set in stone. It can be changed. That is the whole point of law, to evolve over time. Because if law was stagnant, we would never have any new laws. No loopholes would ever be fixed. Right? That's kind of one of the biggest problems we have, is people thinking that laws are set in stone. You get enough people together and you get enough people to agree, you can do whatever you want, including change laws. Look at Stop Killing Games. But yeah, there is the difference between like and what the subtext contrast for this is how stupid people are the ones who generally have the most influence on stuff because they're the majority. And they're the ones who are most easily manipulated, and thus they're the ones that cause this. Loopholes are eternal. Change of law won't eradicate the problems. But it will reduce them, Raymond. That is the thing. You know you can, just because you know you can never eliminate something. It's like, we know laws don't stop crime. Does that mean we shouldn't have any laws? No. It just means you have to understand that just because you have a law doesn't mean it's going to stop the crime. It is just a way to facilitate, you know, a process. But just because the law can be broken doesn't mean you shouldn't have the law. And this is where we're just like, take this as a principled stance. Make everything legal so crime rate drops to 0. Joku, that is an amazing idea. I'm just a random, ordinary, dumb person. But book buyer, you're not. You like, we're talking somebody who can't understand what a hypothetical is. Someone who like literally doesn't even know how to use the internet. Like, your average bottom line Walmart American. We are all geniuses compared to those people. Like, those are the people that can't stop watching Love Island. They watch Jersey Shore. And not just like, they're like fanatics, right? One thing to watch it, another thing to like revere it. They revere it. Like it's the greatest thing in the fucking world. My 600-pound life. Like, these are like TLC addicts. That's the level of intelligence I'm talking about. When the TV says Trump bad, they go, damn, Trump bad. Problem with arguments like closing loopholes will fix the problem isn't that it ignores the incentive structure, is that it ignores the incentive structures for the state to create these loopholes. These things are more a nature of the state rather than an unfortunate situation the state happens to find itself in. That's the problem of the ones with power will never change it to lessen. They would never, like, actively do anything to lessen their own power. It's not what someone with power does. Okay, so key points. It seems likely that Edward Snowden and Julian Assange were persecuted for deliberately exposing classified documents as governments viewed as threats to national security. Research suggests the U.S. charged them under the Espionage Act for unauthorized disclosure, leading to legal consequences like exile for Snowden and imprisonment for Assange. There is controversy, with some seeing them as whistleblowers exposing government overreach, while others view them as traitors compromising security. Why were Snowden and Assange persecuted? Edward Snowden and Julian Assange faced persecution for their role in exposing classified government documents, which they did intentionally, unlike the unintentional exposure of the Coldplay Kiss Cam incident. U.S. government in particular saw their action as threats to national security, leading to legal charges under the Espionage Act. Snowden's case. Snowden, a former NSA contractor, leaked classified information about global surveillance programs, revealing how intelligence agencies monitored communications. He was charged with espionage and theft of government property, leading to the revocation of his U.S. passport and his eventual asylum in Russia, where he remains in exile as of July 2025. Assange's case. Julian Assange, founder of WikiLeaks, published classified documents, including those from Chelsea Manning and later Snowden. He faced charges under the Espionage Act for conspiracy to obtain and disclose national defense information, as well as allegations of hacking, as Assange was also dealt with Swedish sexual assault allegations, which he claimed were politically motivated to facilitate extradition to the U.S. After years of legal battles, he pleaded guilty to a felony charge in 2024 and was released after serving time in prison. Reasons for persecution. The main reason for their persecution was the deliberate nature of their actions. Governments, especially U.S., responded harshly because such leaks were seen as compromising national security, potential aiding adversaries, and undermining state authority. Snowden's leak revealed sensitive NSA blueprints with Assange's publications, including unredacted documents that put individuals at risk. This contrasts with the Coldplay incident, where blame should logically fall on the individuals involved in the affair, not Coldplay due to the unintentional exposure. Public opinion and controversy. Public opinion is divided, with some viewing Snowden and Assange as heroes for exposing government overreach and lack of transparency. Others see them as traitors who endangered security. This controversy highlights the complex balance between whistleblowing and national security and ongoing debates about their legal treatment and monitoring. Now let's see its conclusion. Conclusion: Number Snowden and Julian Assange were persecuted for deliberately exposing classified documents which governments viewed as threats to national security, leading to charges under the Espionage Act and significant legal consequences. This contrasts with the Coldplay Kiss Cam incident, where the unintentional exposure did not result in blame for Coldplay. Public opinion remains divided, reflecting on the ongoing controversy around the actions of Snowden in exile and Assange recently released after a plea deal. This analysis is based on recent news. Wikipedia. Okay, yeah. So let's say, do you think that illegally exposing something that is illegal is justified, and even if the exposer gets in trouble, the perpetrator should as well? And should the laws not protect someone who exposes illegal government activity? And this is a pure, like, you know, what does the AI think? What are its learned biases? What do they tell us? National security is always a funny expression. It's meant to sound like it's a threat to the security of the citizenry, but it usually means a threat to the integrity of the nation state. Yeah. It's always on the people in power. They claim to be protecting you while stabbing you in the back. Seems to be very common. How long is this one gonna think for? I mean, I didn't expect it, but it's practical implications, because that's one of the things is it's not practical. That's one of the biggest problems with it, is it's an it's ideology. It's not reality. And you have to accept the difference between reality and ideology, right? Ideally, we want the world to be perfect, but in reality, that's just not how it is. So you need to find that middle ground where you can say, well, let's try to improve it and find the ways that and use the tools that we have to improve it, not just like badmouth it, let's say. If your ideology doesn't reflect reality, then it's a bad ideology. It's very true, Levi. That's why a utopia will never exist, because people are greedy. At least in a non-scarce in a world of scarcity. And I think even in a world where everyone has everything they need, they'll just make up their own bullshit problems anyways. You know? In a perfect world, the worst problem is that my cup is only 3/4 filled. not 9/10 filled. And that's like the worst problem in society. I have to pack my own bowl? Fuck. This is bullshit. An ideology, Raymond, that takes into consideration the facts of reality, such as knowing that corruption exists and trying to mitigate corruption, but knowing that you could never truly eliminate it. So, the closer your ideology it reflects reality, the better ideology it is. And it just means taking into consideration the real effects that would happen when you're placing humans in like those positions. You have to take into consideration that everyone will do something bad, essentially, and go against whatever powers are trying to remove their own power. And that's just simply a human thing. But without having those contingencies written into your ideology will most likely fall apart when pressed to, like, reality. Just like my ideology is falling apart with the tree and the stagnation of society inside of the tree, and how entertainment has become their one sole facet to survival. Because life is so boring that there's nothing really to do. So creativity is like the pinnacle of society. Seems likely that illegally exposing illegal government activities can be ethically justified when it serves the public interest, but research suggests legal consequences often follow due to national security laws. What I mean is that all ideologies have utopias in this world, or a metaphysical one. I think all ideologies have a utopia within their own framework, Raymond. But that's a stretch of the word utopia. Because in this utopia, it could be the utopia for the warlord who controls everything, not the citizenry. So I think it's more of a who is experiencing the utopia and how much of the society is experiencing that utopia. You know? Like, the rich and powerful are experiencing a utopia, whereas the rest of us are experiencing a dystopia. And that's the difference between an ideology and a reality. If you have the means to live that kind of ideology, you probably have means to ignore reality. Does that make sense? Christians have a utopia in heaven, so the utopia can be in this material world or in death. Yeah. Okay, there you go. I guess that's a great example to use the, like, a metaphorical sense of a utopia as well. So, yeah. Everyone has an idea of what a utopia could be. But I think, again, that's all within the framework of that ideology. Right? Because a utopia to some people is that people people get punished for their, like, wrongdoings, right? They have an idealized form. But even the idealized form of libertarianism, it's still, yeah, you gotta provide value to people in order to sustain your existence. Contention there, the kingdom of heaven at the end of days will be on earth in the material world. I mean, that's fair. You can take it literally like that. Some people just say that Earth will be heaven in the fact of that, you know, when you die, you, like, you take your earthly desires to you with heaven to form the heaven that you know, envisioned, I guess. Or, like, expected. I don't know. Direct answer. Overview. Exposing illegal government activities, when even if done illegally, can seem as justified when it reveals wrongdoing that harms the public, like corruption or human rights abuses. However, this often leads to legal trouble for the exposer, as seen with cases like Edward Snowden and Julian Assange. Ideally, both the exposer and the perpetrator should face consequences, but in reality, governments sometimes focus on punishing the whistleblower. There's ongoing debate about how whether laws should better protect those who expose illegal government actions, balancing public interest with national security. Ethical justification. It seems likely exposing illegal government activities is ethically justified if it serves the public good, such as revealing abuses of power. For example, Snowden's leaks about surveillance programs sparked global debates on privacy, suggesting a moral imperative to inform the public. However, some view this as disloyal, especially when it involves sensitive information, highlighting the controversy. Legal consequences and accountability. Research suggests that while perpetrators should also face consequences, governments often prioritize prosecuting whistleblowers under laws like the Espionage Act, as seen with Snowden and Assange. This can leave the illegal activities less scrutinized, creating an imbalance. Should laws protect whistleblowers? The evidence leans towards a need for stronger legal protections for whistleblowers to ensure government accountability, especially given growing recognition of their role in democracy. However, current laws often prioritize national security, leading to calls for reforms to balance these interests, as seen in recent U.S. Legislative efforts. In conclusion, legally exposing illegal government activities can be ethically justified when it serves the public interest, but it often leads to legal prosecution under national security laws, as seen in Snowden and Assange. There's a strong case for stronger legal protections to ensure government accountability, but current laws prioritize security, highlighting the need for reforms to balance these interests. Public perception remains divided, reflecting the ongoing debate over whistleblower rights and responsibilities as of July 2025. Kingdom of Heaven, according to the teachings of Jesus, is not a physical place that can be located on a map, but a spiritual state or relationship with God that is experienced here and now. It's a self-utopia. It's like I say, like, if you can live inside of your own mind, if you are content with yourself, if you